Hey guys, Max Scoville here for Rev3 Games, and I'm with John Mulkey, who is the ultimate design director, archduke of designing and directing things for Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yes.
So this is a game. I sat down with you. You were showing me the single-player demo, and I said, "So what are we looking at here?" And you just sort of stared at me and said, "This is a first-person shooter," and it is.
Yes.
How do you pitch it? What is the elevator pitch for this game? If for some reason people are unfamiliar with this.
Well, essentially, one of the cool things about it is the idea that it is legitimate, right? We are getting to make the canonical sequel to the Aliens film James Cameron gave us in a video game form, right? That's pretty sweet because for me, I always harken back to good game design, like for shooters particularly, is you want this formula of I want to be that dude or chick. I want to do those things and I want to go to those places. And the Aliens franchise just hits those all perfectly. You know, it's just like,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just so awesome.
And there's
right?
no denying how much it's inspired video games.
Oh, absolutely, and other films, you know. So we get to do that. We get to be the official, the real stuff. You know, I get to go shoot a smart gun, you know, and all these kinds of things. So that's really the cool aspect of it. And then, you know, we take that premise and that opportunity, and we look at how can we make a really great game within that realm, you know. So I mean, you've looked at some of the stuff we're doing with all sort of the cross of the metagame over co-op, single player versus it's all connected, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was a thing that I think Randy Pitchford was talking about that a while ago and saying how the competitive multiplayer and the cooperative campaign and the single player mission, they all kind of intermingled, and it really is all big one game there. And I was pretty skeptical about that, but playing it, how do you explain how that comes into play?
Well, it was really hard to do. Let's start there. No, it's an interesting thing because basically when you're playing through campaign, either co-op or by yourself, you are gaining experience and you're unlocking cool upgrades for your weapons and customizations for your guns and these kinds of things. You're also doing that in versus. So it's all contributing to the same persona and the same elements. So it crosses over all the barriers. I can go jump into campaign, play the first couple of missions, gain experience, unlock some really cool weapons, unlock some cool upgrades, then go jump into versus with that, play a bunch of versus, gain a bunch more ranks, get a bunch more unlocks, and then jump right back into my campaign where I left off with all that new cool stuff.
So I asked somebody about campaign length, and I got sort of a non-answer, which is honestly kind of a standard thing when talking to PR people. But the sense I got actually really jumping in here is that there is a lot of replayability with this game. Mm-hmm. And there's stuff to collect, but there's also kind of a sense of like a sort of arcadey feel to it.
Yeah, we have you know, collectible items, which is nothing new to games, you know, but it's kind of cool in the context. You know, you're going to be playing through the game and you'll get to go find Vasquez's smart gun. You'll get to go find Hudson's pulse rifle. You know, these kinds of things that are directly from the film. Those are the specific weapons, which is pretty fun. We also have challenges in the game. There's this idea of being able to accomplish different play styles, different goals, these kinds of things, and you get experience points and that kind of thing that feeds back into your character progression and your character growth. But those add an element of going back and replaying missions, but replaying them in a different way because you're aimed at doing different things or playing with different weapons or accomplishing different goals.
Gotcha. So what would an example be for that?
A lot of them are prestige-based. You know, there's these things of like, you know, you've got to go, you know, kill X number of whatever, you know, that kind of thing. There's ones that are based on weapon proficiency. You know, if you're going to go be a badass with, you know, specifically this pistol or this rifle or whatever, you can go back into the missions and do that. And a lot of the things that we do with like the weapons, you know, we were looking at the skins that you can get for the weapons, like the pulse rifle with the big, you know, flames on it, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
So cool. I like that because that's actually something that Hudson would do. He would put like an American flag on his pulse rifle, and all the Marines in the movie, they've all got, you know, kill bugs on the helmet and stuff.
Yeah. So a lot of the things that you can do on these challenges and these kinds of things, they reward those kinds of elements. So you'll go accomplish this thing, and that means that you get this really sweet paint job for your gun. And so then when you're playing in co-op or you're playing in versus, because it's all connected, your buddies are going to go, "Oh man, how did you get the flaming, you know, screaming eagle thing?"
They know you're an ultimate badass.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, jumping to multiplayer, that is a huge thing. That is, I was pretty impressed with. You've got, you know, you can play as Space Marines, but I mean, let's face it, you can do that in like whatever, every video game now. Mm-hmm. You can also play as xenomorphs, which is a completely different experience, and it's a totally different play style, and it's kind of surprising how well that's balanced. There's all this customization and all this kind of, you edit your loadouts and everything. The Marines, they have stuff like, smart guns and pulse rifles and all that fun stuff, whether it's got, American flag decals on it, anything like that. And then the Xenos, they have abilities and powers and stuff like that. What are some examples of those?
Yeah, it's analogous to weapon upgrades. You pick your xenotype that you're going to be, because there's different species of xenotypes, and then you're able to get different fatality moves and different attack types that change the way that you play, and change it both goes in the notion of roles. What kind of character do I want to play? So you can pick upgrades that would cater toward that, and you can also in another sense, they're just straight up upgrades, where it's like, I'm going to get that because it gives me, this flurry attack where I'm just vicious when I get up on top of a Marine, that kind of stuff. So you get those kinds of elements.
And again, these are all things that can be unlocked by playing through the campaign, right?
Yeah.
Which is great, because I feel like there's always that kind of, if you suck at online gaming, like kind of do, it is pretty intimidating if you go on and there's someone who's just immediately racked up 16 ranks and they've got all the stuff unlocked.
Yeah, it ends up balancing itself out pretty well, I think.
It's pretty cool. It feels like a pretty well-rounded experience. Is there anything else you want to address? You want to draw attention to?
San Dimas High School football rules.
This is true. Oh, I got one. Is there any girls in the game? Because I heard that Gearbox only makes real sexist games. Oh, look. There's one right there.
There's one right there. She's kind of pivotal to the whole thing. It's like you could say the game's about her.
Well, what do you know?
But anyway,
yeah, it seems like a pretty good egalitarian colonial space marine kind of thing. And
I think so.
Save the queen. Thanks so much for talking, John.
Thank you.
Game looks great. When's this out?
This is February 12th.
And
just
this is
in time for Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah, the girlfriend's gonna love that. And then of course, there you go. She's gonna shooting bugs. How romantic.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's PS3 and 360 and PC. And
Yes.
then the Wii U version is coming.
We haven't solidified a date on that one.
Okay.
So
you got to get the pinging noise to come out of the gamepad properly.
It's awesome.
Thanks guys so much for watching. You can find the rest of our coverage right here on Rev3 Games. Take care.